Hey guys, what is going on? This is NGS and welcome back to another video. It's time for another discussion. Haven't done one of these in a while. I haven't done a lot of videos in a while, but that's besides the point. I've got some special guests this time around. Joining me, we've got, of course, you guys know him. He was part of the last discussion. We got Pat the Geofreed, or is it Danny D's world?
It's the latter.
It's the latter, but so many people here are synonymous with Pat the Geofreed. So many people are synonymous with the Beard of Power. What, man? You gotta stop changing your channels, man.
The Beard of Power retro.
Taking it back to the DBE
YouTube's gotta
protest
stop
days.
killing my accounts is what's gotta happen.
YouTube has to stop doing a lot of things. But regardless of that, thank you for being here, Danny. Also joining me, we've got the one, the only, future Gohan SSJ2. Jamie, how you been, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing pretty dang well, if I say so myself. So, gentlemen, we've got a lot to discuss, don't we?
Yes, we do.
So, seeing as how I don't remember the last time I had Danny on here to do a video discussion that wasn't related to Spider-Man.
That's your fault.
And that's everything is my fault.
That's your loss too.
Yeah. Okay. But Danny, you want to introduce to the people what we're talking about today?
We're talking about Fukatsu no F.
Yes, we are talking about
the new movie. Yes.
We're talking about Dragon Ball Z. Fukatsu no Frieza gonna fuck you up. That's what the English title is actually confirmed to be. Well, you know, we're trying to get it in the works. We got Funimation and people on the line, but they say it's kind of too racy, so we're not going to do it. So it's been a while since we have done an updated discussion on Fukatsu no F, mainly because there really wasn't too much information about the movie. But the film is set to premiere in about, what, a month or so, Future Gohan?
Yeah, and it comes out in a month in Japan in April.
Yeah, and since then, in the past couple weeks, we've heard a lot regarding the film. So we're just going to give you guys a rundown of all the things that have come out since then. So obviously, the biggest thing, which debuted today, was a brand new trailer for the movie. And since that's the biggest topic of discussion, we might as well go through that first. Gentlemen, what did you think of the trailer?
I personally thought it was amazing. It was all flowed well, and once I heard F by Maximum the Hormone come on, I was hyped as hell until the end of the trailer, and I was still hyped.
Danny, what about you, man?
I'd probably have to give it a 7.8 out of 10. Too much aliens.
Too much aliens.
Really?
It was actually pretty freaking cool. I liked it a lot. It's just, unfortunately, my enjoyment of it has been somewhat dulled by certain experiences that have gone on over the course of the day.
Yeah.
And by experiences, he means fanboys.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which seems to be a lot of the things happening in this fandom. But regardless of that, I mean, I checked out the trailer. I thought it was pretty cool. For the longest time, I was lukewarm excited about the movie, but as I'm sure Jamie will tell you, I was not really active or participating in discussions about it. You know, Jamie in and of himself, it took me, what was it, weeks to actually get on here and record this update?
Yes.
It took weeks.
By constant insisting.
Yeah, and finally I broke it down and I'm like, okay, new trailer's out, we gotta talk about it. So the trailer definitely showed us a lot of things that we wanted to see out of it. First and foremost, the action is looking on point, number one. Number two, it showed us more of Frieza's, I guess you could say minions, but I think minions is a derogatory term in 2015. You know, I think that's a trigger term. You know, like it's not, they're not minions.
I thought it was an endearing term because Despicable Me is a thing.
Oh.
Man, I still have not seen those movies. There were a lot of things in the trailer to get somebody excited. Of course, the new theme song, but the biggest reveal of all, Frieza. And
Frieza got drafted by the leakers. He's purple and gold.
Don't you mean blue and black?
Don't. He just did it.
I.
He did it. It's too late. You know, it's already on the table.
You're dead to me. You know.
We got to nuke Texas twice just because of what you said, Jamie. There are a lot of good people in down south, but will you just no. Anyway,
I think Jamal would agree that it's worth it.
It was.
Oh man. But yeah, moving on to Frieza's new form, I gotta say I'm kind of I'm mixed. I mean, I don't have much to say on it. I like it. I think it looks good. It's not the worst thing in the world. But I want to get your guys' thoughts. What do you think about this, Jamie?
Personally, I like it a lot, and everyone I've seen complain about it. They're like, "Oh, Frieza's first few forms are like these big, huge physical transformations. Oh, and this was just a color palette swap. Oh, this is a joke. This blah blah blah." Well, people don't seem to understand that this isn't like Frieza unlocking his 5th transformation. That's not what this is. This is, from what I can gather, this is his god level transformation, similar to what Goku went through himself. And Goku's change when he went quote unquote god wasn't that much of a physical change either. So I mean, it not being much of a physical change doesn't bother me all that much. And to be honest, I like the colors.
Mm-hmm. Danny, what about you?
Well, realistically speaking, the thing, what people seem to forget about Frieza's first 3 forms is that they were actually, they were drastic physical transformations, yes, but at the same time, they were actually lower forms. They were created for him to be able to contain and control his power better. So for him to have a form beyond this other form, it's just not going to happen. That form, the way he looks there, that is his true physical appearance. And so for this form, for people to have expected it to be some sort of like change where it's something like Cooler, where he grows this bone plate mask and has these bulging spikes coming out of his back or something, that seems to be what I see a lot of people having expected. And there's just realistically no way that was going to happen, because I mean, one thing that people seem to forget about that movie, and one of its fundamental flaws, is that Cooler does actually say that I found a way to transform even further, but that's not what he did. You know, I mean, Frieza did not transform to become stronger. He eventually reverted back to his true form.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the color scheme is a little odd. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. Basically, the purple tint that his skin had in his first form is now a lot darker, and everything else is golden. And it does kind of look similar to the way he looks in his final form, but it's one of those things where I think it's mostly just because it's a little jarring. People are going to have to get used to it, but once they do, I don't think they're going to have anything to really complain about.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely does look a lot better in movement than it does in all these screenshots that people have been putting on.
Right.
It really does.
He doesn't look like the limited edition gold amiibo that you can't get outside of Toys R Us or something. So, you know, that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Obviously, there's meaning to these sort of things. I think a lot of people, when it comes to Dragon Ball, and you guys know this as a fact, they just get caught up with what they remember. They just get caught up with wanting to see something grandiose, and they don't know the actual meaning behind it. Like, this isn't going to be like the... I guess they mistake the Frieza's transformations. You know, they always thought when he transforms, he gets bigger and bigger, and the reason why he got small was because, oh, this is different. They didn't realize that that was his true form. So, you know, it just comes down to what you know. But still, I'm in the camp that says purple and white is just the best combination of all time. Frieza's final form was awesome, dude. Or not his final form, his true form. But it's pretty. It's pretty. And then this one is, I don't know. It's gotta take some time to get used to. But regardless of that controversy in Frieza's design,
it will haunt Leonardo DiCaprio's dreams.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe in a live-action movie he'll play Frieza. Yes, I'll finally get the Academy to notice me because I'll look like an Oscar. Who knows? Who knows?
The carbon copy.
But regardless of that, Frieza's new design in the trailer, we actually got a lot more information about the movie in form of preview mangas. For Fukatsu no F, they released, what was it, one preview chapter, and then they had a preview of the second one as well, Jamie?
Yes, they did have a preview of the second one. So did you want to go over the first one first and then get to the second one?
Of course, yeah. So, basically, the first chapter of this preview manga is essentially, how do you say this? It's sort of giving you a rough by-the-book explanation of the film's beginning, the film's plot, how Frieza's revived, but it doesn't go in detail. It saves all that stuff for the movie. And there's some pretty interesting things in it that really caught me off guard. So, Jamie, you want to take it away?
Yeah, basically we start off with flashbacks of Goku and Trunks, and Frieza's in hell, and so he's basically getting these flashbacks of like them beating him, and he's obviously in total angst, but he can't do anything because he's stuck in the cocoon in hell. But then we see up in outer space that there's remnants of Frieza's army that still remain, and the two main ones are Sorbet and Tagoma. They notice that their army is falling to shambles, that they can't. They're having to retreat. Their army is getting even far weaker by the day, and they realize that we need to revive Lord Frieza. So they take off to Earth at an attempt to get to the Dragon Balls. And so what ends up happening is Pilaf and the gang have already summoned the dragon, trying to get some wish, whether it have been money or returning to their proper age or whatever the cause may have been. They jump in and they say, "Hey, Shenron, we want you to revive Frieza." What Shenron eventually ends up doing is he ends up reviving Frieza, but gruesomely enough, Frieza gets revived in tons of little pieces, and he even tries to put himself back together into one piece, only to fall back down into pieces again, which again is really gruesome, and it's kind of dark. But then we see Sorbet and Tagoma take those pieces and bring them into the healing chamber that they now have, which is much more advanced than the one that they had back on Namek. And basically Frieza gets revived, and he announces to them that, "Hey, I'm going to train 4 months and beat the crap out of Goku, who by now is stronger than Majin Buu, and yeah, that's what's going to happen. To be continued."
Yeah, so it sets things up pretty nicely, and what I liked about this, literally, I skimmed it right before we did this, video, is that it opens up a lot of discussion. It gets you really thinking about things that are going to happen in the movie, especially. One of the big things, I think, Jamie, we discussed on this briefly when we did our first discussion video back in, I think, November, December, around that time.
Right.
A lot of people are concerned about whenever you bring either a new villain into the fray or you revive an old one, there's obviously going to be concern in power and the gap between characters. For example, if you have Goku and Frieza who were duking it out, and then you fast forward to Goku due to stronger than Majin Buu, how in the world is Frieza going to be able to compete to that? How in the world are his subordinates going to be able to take down the Z Warriors, who are immensely more powerful than they were when they first encountered the character? And that brings up something, I think it goes back to what we were saying, where a lot of people don't understand the little intricacies about Toriyama's writing. They really skip over a lot of the things that were said about Frieza, even before we met the character. Danny, you want to fill some of those people in on Frieza's origin?
Alright, well, the thing about Frieza is that Frieza is actually one of the few characters that was able to quite literally terrify freaking deities. I mean, the Kais were actually scared at hearing his name. Beerus, later on in Battle of Gods, when he hears that somebody actually managed to beat Frieza, let alone, of all creatures, a Saiyan, he seems genuinely shocked. He, even looking at Goku all this time after he's beaten Frieza, he doesn't think that he should have been able to beat Frieza the way he was there. When you pay attention. Even when the Supreme Kai shows up, the big impressive measuring stick for him is that they were actually strong enough to beat Frieza. These are things that have been kind of planted in the manga for a while now, and honestly, it kind of makes sense considering Toriyama has actually said that this was a story that he had originally wanted to do in the manga, but never got to do.
Again, it goes back to, if you actually understand what's going on in the story, you see that this isn't as big of a ass pull as people are saying, as how they're going to just ramp up the characters to be strong just for the sake of giving us a good fight. There is something about Frieza, and they mention this in the preview manga, his latent power. I mean, considering how strong Frieza is, I don't think there is really any denying that if this dude decided to hone his powers.
Oh, definitely. Especially when you consider the fact that he has never trained a day in his life. He's never really had to work hard. The only people who have ever given him any kind of trouble in anything that he's ever done in terms of testing his abilities have been his parents. And I mean Frieza, being spoiled and being as obscenely powerful as he is naturally, stems from him apparently being a bit of a mutant, and among his own species, exceptionally powerful. But I mean, Frieza's got so much potential that his own father told him the only two people he never wanted him messing with were in fact Beerus and Majin Buu. I mean, that should tell you right there that even his own dad knew that he had some obscene power. But as for how he's training and what he's going to do, the fact of the matter is we don't know. I mean, everybody hears training and they assume that he's just gonna do the same thing that Goku and Vegeta and everyone else does and go out there and start shadow boxing, and 4 months later he's gonna come back and kick everyone's butt. I don't think that's the case, especially if you read that preview and you see the look he gets on his face and everything. He's gonna be doing some pretty heinous and gruesome things in order to achieve that power.
Damn, son. Now you got me.
He also comes back with quite the powerful army.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't just bring some goons with him this time. He literally brings his whole army.
Oh yeah, 1,000 forces.
I mean, this is like an all-out war, and some of them are significantly strong. Yeah. Like, strong enough to give even Piccolo a hard time.
Yeah. And it goes back to something I guess a lot of people can consider would be kind of weird. Like, if these guys are so strong, where were they when Frieza was annihilated? Where were they when all that stuff went down? It's not too strange to assume that after that happened, they just kind of, went and did their own thing, try to rebuild the army in the event that they can one day take revenge. It's not strange for that to happen.
Well, it's also the fact that, I mean, Frieza hadn't managed to conquer the whole galaxy, and, you know, now that he's coming back, and he's back so much more powerful than he was, obscenely so, I mean, it wouldn't be very hard to subjugate these people, these rulers, these generals, etc., and basically force them into his army. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there are definite possible explanations as to where these new soldiers with that kind of power could have come from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, just based off that stuff, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in Fukkatsu no F. Definitely a lot to get me excited. I mean, I was excited there was a new Dragon Ball film coming out, but I was kind of lukewarm. I didn't really care, but there's so much complexities going on with this movie that it's just awesome. It's not just the same old what honestly a lot of people expect it to be. They're doing something different, and especially when it started with Battle of Gods, I had a feeling that this is going to evolve into something greater. It's not just going to be a standalone movie that doesn't make sense here, another standalone movie that doesn't make sense there, and another one. No, they're just branching off and creating a coherent story from what I can gather. Maybe
there have been some screenshots that had been posted, and a lot of people were making a lot of speculation as to what they entailed. Specifically, screenshots of a very messed up Goku and Vegeta standing over him. This basically had people saying that Goku was going to get completely wrecked by Frieza. Vegeta was going to step in and save him, obtain God power just cuz, and basically solo Frieza. But then this trailer's out, and someone managed to translate the dialogue,
Sorry.
and the translation kind of is, well, it's interesting. Frieza actually outright offers Vegeta basically to make Vegeta the commander-in-chief of his entire army if he kills Goku. And the scene of Vegeta standing over Goku actually has Vegeta's dialogue imposed over it with Vegeta saying your history. So it appears from the trailer that Vegeta may be going along with this for one reason or another. What reason that may be, we have yet to see. But this movie's definitely going to have some twists and turns. I don't think it's going to be your straightforward brawl like a lot of people seem to think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is that a lot of people seem to think that this movie is aiming more towards the kid demographic, more or less simply because of the inclusion of the Memorial Clover Z as characters. People for some reason automatically assumed, oh, they're targeting this more towards little girls. Oh, this is going to be stupid. This is going to be blah blah blah. As we can see from this trailer, it's obviously going to be extremely action packed, and obviously tons of things are going to happen. And it's also incredibly gruesome because, like I also mentioned from the first chapter preview, we see the morbidity of Frieza falling apart and trying to put himself back together. And then from this trailer, we can see that Goku gets a hole placed through his chest, and then Frieza morbidly stomps on the hole, similar to what Piccolo did back in the original Dragon Ball when he fought Goku back at the World Tournament. So there's a lot of those elements back put in this movie. So a lot of people seem to think that it's more dumbed down, and it's really not.
Mm-mm. Not at all.
Well, it's not just that, but I mean the idol group, aforementioned idol group that's doing the singing and everything, and the characters that they're playing, they're going to be, I mean, the role that they have is, I mean, when you think about it, Frieza's torment is basically his hell is being stuck in this cocoon, surrounded by all these cute things. You know, he cannot do anything to them. He cannot interfere with them. He cannot touch them. He cannot hurt them. And, I mean, just the notion, though, of these cutesy little things actually being used to torture someone, I don't know. I mean, it's funny, and yet funny in a dark kind of way. So, but, I mean, really, there's a lot of, even though there's some pretty dark stuff in here, it's interspersed with some humor. Some of it somewhat dark. I mean, when they take Frieza back to their ship to put him in the regeneration chamber, they get his pieces together and stick them in what looks like some kind of mix between a crock pot and a trash can. Carted up to the ship.
Danny, would you like to fix the confusion that a lot of people are having with Gohan turning into a Super Saiyan?
Oh god, here we go.
Well, Gohan turns into a Super Saiyan. I mean, there's really not a whole lot more to it. I see people trying to say that Toriyama basically forgot 2 movies in a row that Gohan can't go Super Saiyan anymore. I don't think that's the case. I mean, Gohan, when you get right down to it, has not been training. He has been slacking. And especially now, I mean, I doubt he got heavy into training after Battle of Gods. Plus, he's a father now. Plus, I mean, he's so out of whack that the whole reason he's wearing that green tracksuit was he actually cannot find his dogi anymore. His you know.
For shame! For shame!
He couldn't find it, so he had to put on his gym clothes.
Yeah. That's what's up. Go,
So, I mean,
go
this
save
is
the
not
world in
the
your
mark-
Nike tracksuit.
This is not the mark of someone who's been, you know, training heavily over the last several years. So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking that he may not be as powerful as he used to be. his potential may have gone dormant on him again.
Tracksuit Man to the rescue!
Which honestly is not surprising. It fits with his character. You know, he's always been more into learning, and now he is a dad. He's got a brand new baby, which is adorable, by the way. So it to me, I don't know. It just makes sense that he wouldn't be as strong as he was before.
And last but not least, we have this little tidbit cameo, or I don't even know what this is, of Jacko the Galactic Patrolman. Danny, what do you think? Because I know you have a lot of different opinions on that manga, so...
Well, I don't know how big his part is. I don't know what role he plays. It could be something that, he exists. It could be a little throwaway cameo, like maybe that's a TV show there now. I don't know. I can't comment on that and listen until I actually know to what extent, he is in this movie and what kind of part he's playing.
I know Jamie said last, and certainly not least, but this really is the last part of the film. This is one of the main reasons why Jamie wanted me to talk about the movie. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but Dragon Ball Z Fukatsu no F is actually going to be, the first animated film to be released in IMAX 3D in Japan, Jamie?
Yes, it's in fact the first Japanese film ever in Japan to be released in not only IMAX 3D, but IMAX 4D, which I think that's really cool. And when I first heard this, my first reaction was, "Oh, fuck you, Japan," because it's the coolest thing ever with the moving seats and the weather effects and the smoke. Oh, it's so cool. That's a once in a lifetime experience that we won't get. And we do have 4D theaters down here, but there's no way that we'd get that. No way.
Well, yeah. I mean, considering the way things work out with licensing and Funimation, which is a discussion for another day. I know we all have a lot to say about Funimation and their handling of the Dragon Ball franchise, but we'll save that for another video. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on and discussing the updated news for the latest Dragon Ball Z movie. We might do another video before the film comes out, depending on what we get out of it. So I guess till then, I'm GS signing off for Danny D's World and Future Gohan SSJ2. We will catch you guys later. Peace.
Bye.
See ya.